So we've come to the point where now we need to symbolize our two data variables here. So we have our deer wintering range here in the red, that's the default that it came in, then the conserved land here in the yellow, which is also the default that it came in. We've changed our hill shade so it's a little bit of a more soft palette to put these data variables on top of, but we have to still be kind of thoughtful about how we go about picking those colors, visualizing that so that we can enhance the contrast and most easily see the data. Okay, so one thing I like to do is when I'm thinking about what color combinations to use, and we'll talk about color a bit more later in the semester as we get into color theory and different tools that we use, but kind of a simple process that I use is I use this tool called the Canva color wheel, and essentially here you can pick the different color scheme that you're interested in, complementary color, monochromatic, etc. So if we're picking 3 colors, we would use a triadic color scheme, and I kind of put this similar to the green that we're using. It's kind of a darker green here, right, something like that. And we see that from our triadic color scheme that we're likely going to be using something that's kind of purplish and something that's kind of reddish, or something along those lines, right? It's an inexact science for sure, particularly with map making, because there's all sorts of different variabilities in terms of geography, in terms of terrain, in terms of textures, that if we're doing like kind of straight graphic design, then we can be a little bit more systematic and precise about our color combinations and make sure that they have like perfect mathematical alignment, right? When we're using cartography, or we're doing cartography, a little bit more by feel, and a little bit more imprecise, which can make it more difficult, obviously. Okay, so we've kind of picked that as our color combination. So now we're going to be using green as one of our colors. The other two are going to be in these families like this, right? If we were to take this purple here, right, kind of an exact match, take this purple here, let's say we grab that code, went back to here, went to our color properties, and changed this hex code to purple, right? It's has a nice color combination, but it doesn't have enough contrast to stand out against this background, right? So we want to make it a similar hue, right, this purple, but something bright and high contrast. So let's go back to Canva. And one of the things we can do with this tool is we can stretch it out, right? So say, okay, we want green, but we want a purple that's more kind of over here, right? So let's stretch this out. And you see, okay, with green, a high contrast purple might be more like this color, for instance, right? So let's go ahead and grab that code, copy that, we'll bring that over here, go to our color properties, let's pop that code in instead. Now it's almost too much, right? It's too bright, so it kind of blends in a little bit too much. So in this process, we want to kind of try to find this balance of what we're looking for. Right, so let's change the luminance up to here, about there. That might be good. And a lot of this is a process of kind of trial and error, getting to what you're liking. That looks pretty good. All right, so we have this kind of purple hue that matches well with the green background that we're using, right? And since this is, we're using imagery, which tends to be dark, particularly in forested areas, even though we made it light with our white transparency that we put on main here, for instance, still we just want to use something that's a high luminance of this purple color, and that works pretty well. Okay, so we have high contrast, high luminance here. Okay, let's pick our other bounded area. So this one, this orange should be pretty good. Let's go take a look at it. And this is usually how I go. I start and then adjust as I go. Go to color properties. Let's change the text bin to this. Okay, that looks pretty good. And since this is conserved areas, the boundaries don't really matter very much, and they're actually just causing more noise. So let's just go ahead and get rid of these boundaries. That looks pretty good. And maybe I'll make these a little bit transparent so that they just kind of sit into the landscape a bit more. So just 20% transparency. Maybe like 15%. Okay, pretty happy with that. And so that's, one way to pick colors is to look at the primary hue that you're using. In this case, green was our backdrop. Let's find a couple complementary colors. We can use a tool like this. There's tons of different tools on the internet as well too. I like this one just because it gives you that kind of flexibility to move your color wheel around, gives you different optionalities within saturation. You can pop a color open, change these different features here as well. So I like Canva color wheel. There's a bunch of different ones you could use as well. But I find my primary hue, green, find a couple hues, purple and orange in this point that complement that, and then mess with those parameters until I get something that looks reasonable and aesthetically pleasing.